Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys one of the fastest quarter mile drag builds in Forza Horizon 4, being able to achieve a very quick time of just 7.057 seconds with the McLaren F1 GT. I believe this right now is the quickest tune actually being shown on YouTube. Honestly, as sad as this sounds, I literally spent days trying to perfect this tune to shave off tenths and hundredths of a second just to climb the leaderboard, simply because with drag racing every second counts. So like my previous McLaren F1 GT build, this one will be used specifically for this Rivals event, which is the first one, the quarter mile drag race. The only restriction for this event is that the car must be from the United Kingdom, hence the McLaren F1 GT. And as you can see on the leaderboards, despite the top 4 being hackers, I'm currently ranked in 16th place out of 32,000 people, which I believe is pretty decent. So anyways, just quickly, if you guys aren't part of a car club yet in Forza Horizon 4, come join our club. It's booming right now with well over 600 members, and it's actually a great place to meet new racers and also challenge me in my returning subscriber showcase in the near future. Our club name is Ericship 111 and Stark3Y with a club tag of S111. Pretty simple, and I hope to see all of you new faces on there. Alright, let's get onto the build. So of course the first thing you want to do is purchase the McLaren F1 GT, and I know it's not exactly the cheapest car in the game at 5.2 million credits. However, if you want to be the fastest in drag racing or even circuit racing events, it's a good investment to have. But for some, if you don't have enough to buy one, you can try your luck in a wheel spin, which I strongly advise against. Or you could do what I did, which is buy one from the auction house. Usually the buyout prices are already cheaper than the retail price. Or you could try your luck by bidding on one. At the time when I bought my McLaren F1, I believe I purchased the car at an auction price of just $1.3 million. So if you guys have the patience, it is possible to purchase one at an extremely good price. Before I get into the upgrades and tuning, this quarter mile drag tune is available to download, so if you can't be bothered with tuning everything yourself, just skip to the end of this video to find out how you can download the tune. Okay, so now we are in the upgrade shop. Remember to follow these steps because we will not be upgrading everything, which is very important for this build. The first thing we're going to be doing is a conversion swap. So make sure to change the drivetrain to all-wheel drive. Yes, I know all you hardcore car lovers will say, wow, you are tarnishing the F1 GT, but that's not the point of this video. We are just simply wanting to be the absolute fastest in a quarter mile drag race. So once you've done that, we will be changing our aspiration to what I like to call the two big boys, the twin turbos. So now that you have done that, we'll be moving on to the engine upgrades. Now here, what you want to do is max out everything to its racing part except for the oil and cooling. And the reason for this is because the amount of horsepower gained is not enough of an improvement as opposed to how much weight it adds on. So a 7 horsepower increase in power just doesn't justify in comparison to being 20 pounds heavier. Now we'll be moving on to the platform and handling. Here we want our brakes to be racing just because it will make the car lighter. The springs, we want to put rally springs, not race. This is so we can set the car higher and softer, which is important for launching the car. No roll cage is needed, and also full race weight reduction is to be applied. Then we'll be moving over to the drivetrain. Make sure everything here is upgraded to race because this will unlock the gear ratios and also our diff, which will play a big part in our tuning later on. And lastly, the tires and rims. So with the tire compounds, make sure to choose the drag tires, but with the front and rear tire width, you would think we'll be upgrading them to the widest, which is 10 millimeters wider. But we won't be doing that. We want to keep the car 4 pounds lighter because the wider wheels don't actually give you any improvement in traction. And then as for the rims, no rims are to be chosen as these ones that are already on the F1 GT is the lightest. And there we have it, guys. All the upgrades have now been put onto the car, and we'll now move on to the juicy part, which is the tuning. Now people, before I begin, under the performance tab, the 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 times are irrelevant because I have seen so many people in my previous drag build videos saying their Dodge Demons can do 0 to 60 in 0.8 seconds and so on, but I guarantee none of them can do a 7-second flat quarter mile, and even the F1 GT itself can be tuned to have a better 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 time, but that won't help in a quarter mile because it doesn't account to speed relative to distance, gear shifts, and many other factors. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing is changing the tire pressure. Set them both to the lowest PSI at 15. This will give the car the best traction at launch. Then we move over to the gearing, which is extremely important. Now in the quarter mile drag, we will only be using the first 4 gears. So the final drive is fairly wide at 2.37. Then you want the first gear to be at 2.76, which has decent acceleration and speed before shifting. And then of course, as we move on from second to the 4th gear, the gearings get progressively closer to maintain a fairly consistent acceleration to speed while changing gears. Now the 5th and 6th gear, I just added them in case if you want to use this tune in free roam, so you won't get stuck in 4th gear at 207 miles per hour. So I just thought this could be something extra for you guys. Next, onto the alignment, make sure everything is at 0 degrees. We don't want any negative camber for this. And then with the toe, also 0 degrees as well. And then the front caster is to be set at 6 degrees. Now for the anti-roll bars, put them to the softest at 1. This will play a part in the car's launch and acceleration. Now onto the rally springs. Set the springs to the softest at the front and relatively soft at the rear. This is important because we want the car to almost launch up into the air, almost wheeling, so when the car comes back down, the front suspension can absorb the bounce without slowing the car down. And the ride height, make sure to set the rears at the highest at 4.3 inches and at 3.8 inches at the front. Damping, we want the front rebound stiffness to be set at the softest at 1 and then the rear at 1.3. And then with the bump stiffness, set the front to the absolute stiffest at 10 and the rear to the softest at 1. And then lastly, the differential. Put both the front and rear at 100% acceleration with 0% deceleration. That way all the power will be utilized under acceleration. And then I put the center balance of the diff to 78% bias to the rear. This, with the combination of everything else, will give the car a slight wheel hop with no wheel spin if done correctly. So this does take a little bit of skill, but let's give this a go and let me explain how the best time of 7.05 seconds can be achieved. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. We are at the drag strip, the quarter mile drag strip. Now, it is very important that the launch, you can't get it 100% right every single time. As you can see, when I am demonstrating, there might be times where I have to restart immediately because there will be a lot of wheel spin. Simply because there's sometimes that it just doesn't gain any traction. But let's see if this goes alright. Right off the line, there is a good launch. Now the Ghost right next to me does a 7.05 second time. And then right there you can see I got a little bit too slow then. But it's very close. So the key for acceleration is to have your left thumbstick slightly to the right in the beginning, and then once you launch, you let go of it. And then once you let go, the car will seemingly gain grip, and then you can completely accelerate. Now that's just with the steering itself. Now I'll quickly talk about the throttle. Now before you begin, you want to be at about 90% throttle, and then once it says go, you change it to 100 straight away. Then you fully accelerate, and then with that in conjunction with letting go slightly of your left thumbstick from the right hand side, you can get a pretty decent time. Now right now I'm not getting the best times because it does take a while, but let's see how this one goes. This one seems to be very close. Hopefully it seems to be just a little bit too slow at 7.09. Now there will be times that this might happen. You listen to everything that I say, have the throttle all the way down once it says go, and then you can see that there's time marks, and then you start losing it at the end already. But that's okay, it happens once in a while. But then once you have everything done, then this happens, ladies and gentlemen. Everything goes right, slightly tilting to the left, and then boom, there we go. I am matching the Ghost now, and then there, 7.05 seconds on the quarter mile, the fastest on YouTube right now, including the full tune. But for those of you guys who skipped and just want to download the tune, it is called Quarter Mile 7.057 with the description saying YouTube vid legit. And of course, the creator is done by me, called Ericship. Also, feel free to follow me on the Creative Hub on Forza Horizon 4. That way you guys will get test tunes whenever I upload them. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy the fastest quarter mile drag build on Forza Horizon 4 using the McLaren F1 GT, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button. That would really help me out. And also, if you did enjoy this video and would like to see more of Forza Horizon 4 and what I do, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.